Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, and MBs, it is time to strive. And you're, of course, watching Bounty Hunters FT7 show match event as it nears 5 p.m. on Sunday afternoon. It is time to rock. I'm QK, your usual host and commentator for Bounty Hunters, backed up by Space Dust from the Portuguese FGC tonight, as per usual. Howdy ho.
Hello, hello.
Alright, so tonight's theme is we're trying to make everything work as well as possible. We've had some last minute changes. We got a lot of players who need very specific time slots, and timing is of the essence. We'll see if we get to play everything tonight. We'll do our best. We'll definitely do our best. I think Setsuna and Rolle can perhaps be a little flexible. We got information from HiWill that they will need as much stall as possible to make it happen. So the schedule on the screen might be flipped around as we need, but otherwise, yeah, we're gonna get at least some games tonight. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's at the end of the day, as long as we get to see some good sets, even if we don't get as many as usual. So it's always good to just see people show up, playing a bit, and doing their best. I mean, real life happens. At the end of the day, sometimes the things just get in the way, unfortunately.
But we're ready to roll with it. And speaking of people showing up, 2 new Finnish players making their Bounty Hunters debut tonight. Speaking of one of them in the first matchup of the evening today, Kianator. Oh, this one is actually an interesting one. I'm not sure if Kianator is in the Finnish fighting game Discord. If they're actually listening, might I interest you in some good fighting game Discord community. That goes for pretty much any player. You don't even have to be a Finnish player. We do acclimate foreign people in our Discord as well, and have matchmaking, so there's that. Either way,
I mean, I'm in the Fincord. Everyone seems very nice from the few messages that I can read. There was the fun ping last week about someone's local scene getting a coffee machine. When I got that translated for me, it gave me a good laugh.
Oh, that was a funny incident. Yeah, Kianator is an interesting case. I've seen them play very actively, especially on a lot of rookie tournaments that happen from your usual tournament organizers. So they're definitely putting the time and the effort into the game. So facing Meduka Soul from Russia on the first slot tonight. Meduka, of course, showed up a couple of times. Pretty decent performance so far, especially the very previous one. Discord, where actually, let me dig up a Discord invite. I should probably put it on exclamation command as well, so the Finnish fighting game Discord can be found. I think there was a dedicated link to it, but I forgot what it was.
I think it's just the name of the server, which, I don't know how to pronounce.
Is it Taistelupelit?
Yes, I think.
What's the...
not the Discord. Well, what is the ending for a Finnish website?
FI. Kahvikone toimii, Pog. Give me a second. I'll pick up one of the working invites. Server settings. How do you drive this boat? Invites. There it is. How do you copy these? Oh my goodness. There we go. I think that should work, right? No?
Yeah, there it is. That's the west side.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Let me copy that down. I'll put that in a command after the show, so it's easier to advertise our, not only my own community, but also our humble Finnish fighting game community. Home for pretty much any fighting game you can think of, even the poverty ones. Actually, Finns love poverty fighting games quite a bit. So we have players for games such as JoJo or HNK or you name it.
Yeah, it seems like the Finns, with regards to just fighting games, seem to have a very good variety in tastes. I've noticed that you all seem to have, you know, as much as it might not be a big country, the scene seems very healthy.
Yeah, that is super surprising. I think it's like we started promoting like pretty aggressively and in the right kind of way very early, like years ago, and sort of started integrating all the scenes together, and then the different scenes from different fighting games just started to like sort of blend into each other, and now we have a pretty nice mix of people picking up fighting games, new fighting games as they come, so you always pretty much have a scene for whatever new fighting game you want to play. Anyway, we have our players in the lobby. We got Kianator, we got Meduka. Everything is set up for a banger here on this fine Sunday afternoon. Let's dive into it.
Oh, did you move the indicator so you can see the rounds this week?
I did not. That's still under construction, so sorry about that. You won't be able to see the round situation.
We'll just have to do a really good job with transmitting that information over.
Alright, another interesting matchup. This is definitely what goes for Sol in this one, is that you have mad rewards and some really good buttons to poke incoming minions out of. Oh, that's one of the options for sure.
That's really cool. Using a ground viper, or rather Night Raid Vortex as it's called in this game. I've been playing too much Axer. To great effect in going under the minion throw, especially after the buff, since the minions do get armor. It's a lot harder to contest that just directly, so just avoiding it and going under. It is really interesting because obviously we don't get that much data on Jacko's matchups because very few people play her. As she's getting a better perception now though, look at that damage. It seems like more people are picking her up and giving her a shot, so we might start to get a better understanding of where she stands with regards to other characters.
Yeah, and being a highly technical character, like, as new players pick them up, even like later after the release, you do need a little bit of time to let her come into fruition. But again,
the Vortex just ignoring the minions, ignoring the little children, and just going for the wife.
I've heard Jacko players say that Vortex is surprisingly difficult to deal with because it is kind of like a tool that anti-airs accidentally. It's surprisingly good at anti-airing, and when you're in the air holding a minion, you're not gonna be able to block. You'll have to like parry minion command, and I've never seen anybody parry in that situation against Vortex.
Yeah, I was gonna say, one of the things that I think, very good 2D dealing with the Vortex there. Forcing the burst out of Meduka. But what I was gonna say is that every time that we kind of have a Jacko on the stream here, be it Carrot or Fecian, the two main people that have brought Jacko to the event, we always end up saying, you know, who really has the matchup experience against Jacko? It seems like Meduka might be the first one kind of challenging that idea, having had some answers already some of the stuff that Kianator is trying to do.
Oh, that big... Oh, nice. Gets the 6S as well. That's almost a dead Jacko here. A little bit of a chop.
No, Jacko takes a lot of damage, and I think the biggest thing about Vortex and how good it is in the matchup is just Jacko can typically be very far away doing the commands and throwing minions, being relatively safe, but the ability to challenge that full screen safety of Jacko's with a move that just goes under all the minions seems really good.
Speaking of things that go under, interesting challenges there. Kianator with the 2D. Oh, the frame tap, immediate burst from meduka. Next hit is gonna be super crucial.
The football kick as a counter hit is one of Jacko's biggest starters. I remember seeing Ed Venture talk about it, how some of Jacko's most damaging combos come off of that, so I do not blame meduka for going for the burst where they did.
Oh my goodness, one more. Oh, finds the 2D. Sorry, 2K. That was actually a great attempt at a run back from Kianator, because we remember the two combos that meduka landed at the start of the round basically took Kianator to 0 health, but they still managed to run it back somewhat, even though not fully.
Really solid zoning right now with the minions, getting the goobers out, setting them up. 5D to break the wall, unfortunately not enough neither, so this is gonna go back to neutral, but meduka has such a health deficit to work through, but maybe? Oh,
the burst bait there. meduka actually doesn't bite here, as the YRC still has a chance, but Kianator, nice reaction there.
Yeah, I really respect how meduka played that. Just holding on to the end and letting Kianator drop their own things. It shows a lot of respect for your opponent. On both sides, really. Also, seeing that 6H, Soul 6H now, after being traumatized for the kind of counter hit starters I've seen him do in Exit, it's a very different feeling now.
Yeah, it's like the tools are very different in between the games, but both are amazing in their own right. Oh, look at that, landing into the minions, so the extended active frames actually letting Kianator find a punish.
Really solid 60 here.
And here's the party starter. meduka does have a burst available at 50 meter.
It's so hard. You can burst, but you're still going to be in the rough spot. You're still going to be in the corner against Jacko. You're sending her back to her preferred ranges as well, where she can zone you out. Solid avoid on the Vortex.
I feel like Kianator has been starting to find those tools to actually avoid the Vortex.
I think it's also just playing in such a way that they aren't weak to it. Just a preventive measure saying,
yeah,
you know, this is the only option you're presenting right now against me, so I'm going to play around it. And meduka now just needs to find alternatives that make Kianator scared of other ways of attack. Oh, unfortunate early wall break. Doesn't get the kill, which the super would have allowed.
And it's not just the Vortex, but also Kianator has started to figure out when the 6 heavy is coming round start. Again, dodging it and playing themselves into a really nice position. Oh, there's 2S though. 2S, very nice button for both footsies and intercepting minions incoming.
Oh, the super kick against the Vortex? Hitting low enough to stop it.
That's actually great. There's like, Kianator so far has presented like, I think 3 or 4 different options to outplay the Vortex.
Very mindful of the way they're playing around and controlling the character. Oh, solid block command. Nothing a good old far slash can stop, and now meduka's back on the driver's seat with a meaty Fafnir. That's a lot of plus frames, but
oh, nice.
Kind of just drops the pressure, and Kianator takes the round.
Very nice. A response you don't see very often to the instant air dash. Just dash under, switch positions, and go from there.
Oh, that was clash.
Interesting.
The helicopter kick. I think that's just. Isn't it just 5H or 6H? That's
I wonder if Sol actually ended up clashing with a minion there, because I did see like the DP frames extending. Now wild throw out of the corner, has still meter to back this pressure up. Finds hit, and that should be a yeah.
It's just a clean little conversion. Just go for something safe that kills. That's good enough. Oh, solid hit with a jump heavy.
Oh, this time the Vortex is good. Can't always be ready for it, and this big soul damage coming in.
Yeah. Especially against Jacko, that is the biggest weakness she has. Definitely in her defensive capabilities.
Looking for that one more hit, 50 meter, and getting a much more. God damn, that pressure string.
Kianator was just running out of meter to potentially be FDing and either getting out of the pressure or not getting chipped out.
And on the other hand, meduka did have the positive bonus there. Actually ended up spending more than like 100 meter on that one pressure sequence. Vortex finds its target once again, forcing Kianator the burst. But now you're in the corner.
Oh yeah, and Elysian drives to a lot here.
Let's see if Kianator is willing to. Yeah, let's see if Kianator is willing to take this risk and pressure. No, just keeps it back to, at neutral. That's kind of smart against big damage gorillas like Sol. No really reason when you have the, you know, dominant position to risk it. Just make them come to you and make them take the risk instead. Wow!
And especially because in that situation, just being able to jump back and set a minion into play. Oh, that TP hitting from
what in the 5D hitting from very far distance. 50 meter, scoring a little bit of damage, but not too much. I think Kianator is probably happy with that turn of events. Going back to neutral, here's the burst from meduka.
The cancel into the grab.
Oh, nice. Faking the dash in, then waiting for Kianator to twitch, and then finding the frame trap. Once again, spacing out of the vortex range, Kianator finds the first hit in this round. Oh, that's a big counter hit though. 1, 2, 3. Half your life gone. Had to burst that counter hit. Fafnir would have done some serious work here. Still not out of the danger zone. Kianator really has to avoid getting hit here for the rest of the round.
Ooh, definitely cannot afford any hits. And even the FD won't stop meduka from being able to just find the little 2k hit. That 2k has taken at least 3 rounds so far. Just like that, just getting the last little bit of damage that meduka needs.
That's sort of what you would expect from the new patch. Now that Sol 2k actually goes into 2D pretty comfortably, you find much more use for that 2k from Sol from, you know, previous versions. Ooh, also that 5 heavy has been punished by meduka quite a few times. Sol has that 5k extremely fast button. Oh, a good read from meduka, backdashes out of the throw. But here's the throw reject, and Kianator flips the positions while they're going back and forth. The reads.
Cross-up attack commands have also been on point. Kianator's just altering the timing ever so slightly. RCs! Oh, wild throw, a bit too active and still catches after the RC. That's
Speaking of the attack commands that you said, had a good RPS there, meduka was ready for it, YRC'd, but Kianator also had the next layer, however, wasn't able to get out of that situation. Wow, that RPS is... It feels like both these players have played this matchup quite a bit before, as there seem to be a lot of really matchup-specific, you know, answers from both of the players so far. Look at that once again.
Soccer kick on the Crown Viper.
Alright. Here's where the comeback starts. Not gonna get a clean
meduka playing the Soul Grappler game.
Oh, did you see that? The 2S from downtown from so far away. That is definitely a footsie button for this matchup. meduka puts 4th win on the board. Oh, that's a very damaging hit. Why might have been very careful of the burst there.
Then really solid back throw from Kianator. Solid jump to stop the ground viper as well. Just very safe response to it.
Much more 2S coming out from Meduka now. I think. Oh, wait a second. This is
just gonna hit. No.
Oh, okay.
He's still able to jump, and look at the damage that this is going to do.
Oh my
This kills, right?
Oh
yeah.
My goodness. Yeah, that's one of the nasty things for Jacko. She, out of a lot of the RPS situations, she doesn't get a lot of damage for right reach, whereas Soul gets a hell a lot. Attack command secures a nice quick BMB combo.
Doesn't get the super on the wall break. This is going to cost a little bit of damage. Cost the Oki situation here on the wall break, but...
Uh-oh. Where's the meter?
I was about to say, Kianator was having a very good time regardless after the wall, but this last combo is just devastating.
Oh no! Oh, was that a punish? Tried to YRC out of the round start. 6 heavy. I think Meduka might have had 50 meters stacked up, which was why Kianator felt like they might have to YRC here to prevent, you know, Meduka just guaranteed pushing the situation with 50 RC. And slowly, the momentum, even though Kianator has a lot of good options, has a lot of success in the RPS situations, Soul is just that kind of a character. When you guess right once, again, the 2S, such a good footsie button. I think Jacko might have to use, like, is it far slash to beat Soul 2S specifically? There's a very specific, you know, answers to each other's buttons in this matchup, so it's...
I'm really not sure, because I don't know, again, that there's the lack of experience with this character. I'm not super familiar with Jacko's buttons as a whole. And it's just hard, you don't see them very often, but it's always very interesting to see how people decide to deal with, or find ways to deal with, rather, with it's kind of minion setups, because look at Meduka right now, just being put into this difficult situation in the corner.
Oh my god, where was...
Oh, finds a really good 5-8 hit. Oh! Kianator gets a gold burst, manages to find a counter hit with 2D, spends the RC to get a solid conversion.
And that's a kill, yeah, that wouldn't miss, right? Yep, straight into the casket. Smack your head against the ground. Now Kianator, I think, desperately starts to need this momentum shift so that Meduka doesn't run away with the momentum too much.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate scenario, is that, you know, playing Jacko, the biggest problem you have is really your defenses. So against a character with such consistent big damage conversions as Soul, it's gonna be very difficult for you to really get positive momentum going for you, but sometimes this kind of throw situations are just what you need. But the 5D finds its way in, and Meduka takes another game.
Yeah, it was very even for the first, like, 4 or 5 rounds, but now Meduka has, you know, piled up such a massive lead that Kianator must be feeling the pressure here. And it's really surprising seeing this, you know, presence of mind for all the Soul tools from Kianator. Like, seems to stay in control most of the rounds. Look at that again. One of the things I love about Soul 2S in this matchup, if you extend the active frames by poking a minion, the hitbox stays on the ground or on the field, and it's so good. The Soul 2S hitbox. It's really difficult for Jacko to do anything about it, even if it's just there.
I feel like that's Soul's best thing in this game, is just how well his buttons interact with almost all of the matchups.
Yeah, for sure. It's like you wouldn't expect like a close range brawler character to have really good footsies, but depending on the matchup, he really has some nice buttons for a lot of occasions. 6S, 2S, 6 heavy, yeah, you name it. This is a set point position. And Kianator, oh, I think meduka was respecting, so can't jump out here. Alright, alright.
One last shot for Kianator here, as meduka is on set point. Just one little bit of health can save Kianator. There we go.
Now, still alive, but here's the big thing. Kianator had to spend their burst for that 100 meter that got them the win. So now they have no burst to spend.
Yeah, exactly. In needing to win this round and having no games of buffer for a comeback. And it's looking dire because right now meduka is one hit away from taking the set. And takes it convincingly with a perfect as well.
The critical gut punch. The sole favorite party starter Farslash lands once again on pressure. And meduka with a quick momentum swing in their direction takes it 7-2. But again, I gotta say that was one of the most beautiful 7-2s that I've watched. Kianator had so much, you know, so many good tools to bait a lot of Soul's tools out with. But here's the thing, this is very, I want to say, Strive kind of a thing. That these characters who have super high damage and super strong tools, such as like Soul or Nago, they can afford to hammer some of those heavy tools in time after time and just try to fish to get the one hit in and basically grab the round that way. Even if your opponent baits it, you know, getting punished once or twice, especially if you're facing a character like Jacko who doesn't punish you very hard, it's honestly okay.
Yeah, especially if the Jacko isn't being able to put you in the difficult kind of pressure sequences with a bunch of minions out, where, you know, if you fall into that, obviously it's going to be a lot more difficult. But in your average sort of scenario, you know, you get out of one of Jacko's biggest combos, and you might just be back into neutral and ready to contest the mid-range as well. And Soul has, as we talked about earlier, just so many tools to deal with all of that, to just fight for control of neutral with really good normals. And again, those specials like Vortex that just kind of skip forward and do whatever you want them to do.
Mm-hmm. Alright, but moving on to the next matchup of the evening, we've got HDM May from Russia against the guy with the probably one of the funniest name on Bounty Hunters occurring, Fatnuts43, aka Funny, Nagoriyuki player from UK.
Yeah, honestly, Fatnuts kind of godlike. The only thing we want, that I want to see is, we know in Exert there's that player that goes with the handball. Oh my god, what? Coomer Master for 2069?
Oh yeah.
And honestly, yeah. And I want to see a Coomer Master versus Fatnuts versus 7 in either game at some point.
I think it could be doable on Exert because I think Fatnuts plays, or at least started playing Exert as well. So here's to hoping.
Yeah, I think they were even playing Slayer, which I think just makes sense when you go buy Fatnuts online.
But also, like, I guess Nagoriyuki is kind of like a spiritual successor to Slayer in a way. I think Nago's kind of Slayer plus Sin put in together.
Yeah, it's quite an interesting design. I just definitely think it's a bit oppressively strong, but other than that, I think Nago's one of the cooler characters in this game. And just like, what a really solid start. Fatnuts like the first round off of HDM here.
Alright, so Nago versus May. Oh no, that was too close! Or HDM might have been extending themselves into the Blood Rage explosion.
Oh. Goes for the Blood Rage super there to try and sneak out a win, because that super deals so much damage. It's full screen. It would have definitely killed HDM at that range, I think.
Yeah, a little bit of an unfortunate drop that no matter where you are on screen or how it hits, you always have a dash full screen punish for the for that Blood Rage super. HDM not quite getting there, and as a result, Fat Nuts.
Finally the hit with that level 3 5H. I do have to note though, how often do you see Nagoriyuki blow up and then the round still goes on for as long as that one did?
I know, right? But on the other hand, once you blow up, if you get somehow out of that situation, you do get your blood meter back.
That was gonna be a devastating conversion for Fat Nuts.
The beach ball was already out, so it kind of cancelled the big punish that HDM might have had. All right, but we're
back in it. HDM gets the grab, gets the punish, goes for it. Yeah, no, I was gonna say it would have been such a monstrous conversion for Fat Nuts there last round, but HDM managed to get a really solid burst timing, which forced Fat Nuts into that Blood Rage. Now, already at level 3 blood, the amount of... Yeah, you have limited tools now to be able to escape this corner. Still manages it, now advancing forward with a Fukyo.
I think
and just zoning out with a big normals.
HDM being extremely courageous. I think this is like already 3 counter hits that HDM managed to land, but Fat Nuts still standing. And on the other hand, this might be close to a kill, not quite.
Yeah, it was just too far away from the wall to kill, but still. Fat Nuts finds the hit, takes us to round 3. Also, the fact that we're listening to Holy Orders whilst this is all going on just makes too much sense. For the intensity of a matchup that we have right now.
Speaking of Holy Orders, this song was actually one of the reasons why I got so invested in Guilty Gear. Just one song, think about it, in a fucking PS1 game. We all have our origins. Oh my god, 2S catching that dolphin. But of course it does. HDM needs to find a way out of this corner situation. Oh, that's definitely one way to do it. The pressure flows.
One thing I really, so much pressure. Fat Nuts has very low health. Not wanting to lose game 2 here. Super close on both sides. Just has to hold it. Trying to find it out. 6k gets it.
Fat Nuts actually stood up for that 5D, but not for the subsequent overhead, the 3k, sorry, the 6k. And HDM brings it 1 even. Oh, that was an interesting IB in the air. Oh. 1-2. Deals a lot of damage for Nagoriyuki. Ooh, very late backdash, but makes it out of that blood-sucking universe. But now, backdash. 50 meters spent into it.
JH finds a hit into the sweep. HDM bursts out of it, wanting to take back the position in the corner.
Very Strive-like burst. Keep the corner position. Because I think Mei... The neutral definitely does not favor Mei as far as I know, so having this pressure position as Mei in the corner is very delicate, very important to hold on to. Oh, nice bait there! Don't
very
cheat
solid.
there!
When we saw HDM playing last week, if I recall correctly, they were also very on top of those potential YRC activation points. Just managed to do a really good job of baiting them, so
yeah, I think
I'm interested to see if that maintains for this week's set.
Yeah, you definitely want to be on point on YRC punishes, because YRC is such a strong tool, honestly, in Strive. It's not like Dead Angle from the old games where you push them back to neutral. It kind of like swings the momentum immediately. It is your turn. You are extremely plus after that YRC.
Yeah, you can put your opponent into a guaranteed strike throw position. Some characters, for example Eno, can definitely go for the 50-50 high-low off of it.
Yeah.
So you have to be on your toes, because if you don't bait it, your turn's just over.
Oh, nice wire. Sorry, instant air dash there. Gets in. And now... This is definitely the position where HDM wants to be in gold burst. Good one from Fat Nuts. Gets a big value out of that burst gauge.
Yeah, no. Fatnuts uses the meter really well to escape solid counter hit 6H, but doesn't get anything off it, didn't cancel it.
Oh, nice catch on the backdash, the 3K, sliding in, backed up with 50 meter. Dropping
And
the
that
combo,
just
but
kills.
no worries. As long as you're ready to flow into the pressure situation after a dropped combo, you're still pretty good. I have the burst.
Oh, that 2S just barely hitting.
5K from May. Very nice tool at catching backdashes. Reaches really far. A lot of good cancel options as well. Beyblade beating the 5 heavy, the big stop sign here. They're going back and forth. Oh, I think I saw close slash from HDM. Yes, indeed.
Yeah. This kills, yeah? Yeah,
Yeah.
does. Each individual round is being quite close already, which is very cool, interesting to see. Fatnuts just going for it, going for the full blow up.
And HDM making sure that after a couple of those blunders in the first and the second game, they're probably not gonna miss a whole lot of free blood rage punishes from here on out. Oh my god, Fatnuts is so aggressive with the blood meter. Is that a pop? Not quite.
Oh,
I
gets the
actually
punish
like
of the
that.
close slash.
Oh, god,
Gets
was
the
it?
setup.
Fatnuts at 0 hit points or exactly 1.
I mean, when you're already like
Oh, is he
at
getting
that.
it? He's getting
Oh my-
the chip kill! Oh my god, Fatnuts! Bets it all in the chip kill! And HDM either didn't have enough meter or didn't use it. Oh my freaking god.
That was certainly a sequence.
That was such a ballsy sequence. Very fitting for a player called Fatnuts. Those nuts were extremely fat, because I think if HDM just, you know, holds onto the FD, Fatnuts just stuns themselves again before the chip damage goes in. Alright, but it's gonna be good. Yes, indeed. His reversal super also gets some extra value if your blood meter is high, because it does put you on a downward
Yeah,
momentum.
because so many individual hits, it does bring your blood level down quite a bit. So if you're high-ish blood coming out of it, you're gonna get a lot of added value from then being able to go and use, you know, a couple more specials before blood raging.
Yeah, something to keep in mind if... Oh, wait a second, that 5P! That was a cool tap there. Oh, but... it's a pretty decent punish. But we're needing one more hit. And Fatnuts now, because they have some fresh blood, they potentially... Oh, okay, they're just gonna go for it, even though they're sitting on a one-round lead.
I mean, can we expect anything else from a player called Fatnuts?
Yeah, for sure. It's like the aggressive plays at this point are extremely characteristic of Fatnuts. But now they will have to wait for a while before that burst gauge comes back, and potentially not getting it back for this one. HDM has so much meter to play for, of course.
Finds
Overhead.
the overhead, tries to RC it to hit confirm, but unfortunately doesn't get anything off it. Fatnuts now about to pop. And yeah, HDM is just going to get the full punish hit, the full dust combo.
One hit
Fatnuts
point.
at 1 HP.
And a dream. But this is
I mean,
fresh blood. Here we go.
We already saw this exact situation and Fatnuts getting a win off it, but this time HDM will not get taken like that.
I was getting scared there because Fatnuts, even after that fresh pop, was spending blood extremely fast, but you know, you do what you gotta do when you have one more hit point. You gotta be aggressive. You can't eat any of those neutral dolphins on block anymore.
Oh, solid air throw.
So clean.
Go back to the floor, give me that level 3 blood, get zoned into the corner. Fatnuts is just trying their best to keep HDM abreast of the corner now. Went for the command throw to try and get the blood back.
Oh, what
the
a bait!
The punish on the pop is actually really good for Fatnuts here. But HDM.
That's such a situation that Fatnuts keeps putting. Oh, here we go. Is that gonna be a kill? No. Is that gonna be a pop? No. Oh, he's going for it.
Oh, this time HDM was ready. Just held it all and went for the grab.
Yeah,
as a
I
punish.
think the fundamental weakness against Nago deciding to just burn it and go for the pop is universal mechanics. YRC, burst, those will basically abort the attack sequence and not allow Nago to, you know, have any sort of counterplay.
Oh, that close slash getting punished by the YRC. Solid hit with the jump D.
Yeah, unfortunately not a counter hit and not in the corner, so no bounce that time. Fatnuts again has to be very conscious of the blood. But luckily we are high level, so these sword swings are gonna reach full screen.
Gonna reach full speed, they're gonna be faster as well, which was one big thing about being able to zone someone into the corner is that at high blood it becomes a lot easier to keep that zoning pressure going.
Yeah, so if your opponent doesn't really have like a poke that reaches as far, even if you're minus out of that 5 heavy, it's never your opponent's turn, because they would have to dash forward to get in range first, and that's not enough plus frames that you get of, you know, blocked 5 heavy from Nago. Alright.
Catching the Fukyo back with the Dolphin into the grab.
Oh, the DP to answer here! Good burst, negating a lot of damage. Nice, sliding under. Both players being extremely sneaky, sliding out of each other's block strings.
I think, you know, on both sides, you don't want to be stuck in the block strings on either side of this. You know, Nagoriyuki has that chip damage from the slash normals. Mei has just a situation where Nagoriyuki doesn't have the tools without spending blood to get out, which, you know, a lot of the times hasn't been the option here, so neither of them want to directly be under pressure, even if they're not taking hits.
That Nuts is so close to popping again. Forcing RPS.
Definitely some very calculated risks. Oh, that backdash just barely was able to recover in time for Fatnuts to then get the block. But now, down to what could be the very last interaction. This round has been going on for quite a bit.
Oh, tried the Hail Mary! My god,
Oh,
how
no.
is he still alive?
The close slash hit confirm. This is gonna do so much. Is this just death?
It's enough.
It is.
HDM, I think, got a little bit too careless there. Overextended into the long dash. Fatnuts just reads it with a big close slash into a super. Yeah, that's it's so nice, the combos you can get out of Mei 5K. That is definitely one of the hidden MVP buttons for a lot of matchup, I want to say, that a lot of Mei players are not necessarily utilizing unless they're, you know, advanced. You know, we know about the 2S, the power slash, the 5 heavy, but 5K, yeah, 5K is that spice. Alright, good block here.
Solid grab and then into the corner. HDM now. Yeah, on the pressure sequences.
Yeah, it's very...
Other than burst, Fatnuts didn't really have anything they could do to get out.
There's a very common pressure reset from Mei players. If you are not in the know, you have to walk forward to make that up dolphin whiff. If you're just gonna block it, Mei is plus and gets to, you know, press their offense once again. Oh my god, so close to popping once again. Can't even do Fukyo here. HDM with the counter hits confirms the 6K. And we still need one more for both players, but now Fatnuts in a very awkward resource situation, just...
Never mind. You were just about as you said that, getting that command throw allows for so much action. And now, yeah, before the bar had time to fill up, Fatnuts goes in and gets the kill.
That's what makes Nagoriyuki so sort of explosive and was it hard to read, because even if you are ready to pop, you can definitely expend that last bit of blood and try to gamble into blood-sucking universe, which will consequently save you if you land it.
Yeah, but also look at the response on this. Fatnuts decided to go for the wall break instead of just trying to get the reset on the Blood Rage, and that allowed HDM to just get a full punish after the wall broke. And just like that, HDM pulls ahead once again.
It's been so back and forth. This time the round star Dolphin gets there. Oh, I swear.
This is unfortunate for HDM now.
The way Fatnuts sort of sets up the pop situation is they always end up minus enough for HDM to want to go in, but they go in straight into the Blood Rage explosion. Lots of meter for HDM. Oh, thought that the Fatnuts would land next to them. So much meter for both players. Oh, that was so smart from Fatnuts, saving themselves with that drift. But they're not out of the woods yet. Here comes a pressure. Any hit is a kill.
And the grab finds it.
Surprisingly calm and collected, just respecting the pressure from HDM, from Fatnuts. I guess it doesn't necessarily correlate to your defensive play. If you're a wild man in the offense, it doesn't necessarily mean that you abare a lot in defense. You can be very patient on defense for sure.
Sometimes you're gonna have to, especially with a limited resources character, when every sort of option that you choose costs resource that you're going to need later for offense potentially.
But also understanding who you're fighting against. Fatnuts, even though you're that big damage character with the Twitter combos, this Mei character has Twitter combos as well, so if you get hit, it's gonna hurt you just as much. Who gets hit on the backdash? Both players trying to find that one decisive big conversion. Where's it gonna come from? They have the meter.
Oh. Big solid 5H hit. That is a terrifying scene to see.
Oh, that was definitely a bait, right? Yep.
Yeah. And now, speaking of Twitter combos,
100 meter, that's surely gonna be enough. Even though the combo ended up cutting a little short there, walls, of course, build damage even when you are not in the corner. That's an interesting mechanic. Totsugeki into the throw, set up plus frames. Ooh, nice, stands up and blocks.
oh yeah. Being able to block resets the combo to get more pressure in the corner.
Damn,
Being a bit respectful here, I feel like Fatnuts has been playing quite a bit more respectful on offense now. Learning to say, okay, HDM has responses, HDM knows where to punish me, so I have to be really careful.
Yeah, I think they tried sort of perform the knowledge check whether HDM knows how to interrupt the sequences, such as, like, you know, using burst when you're already going bust. Oh no, speaking of burst, HDM suddenly. We had similar situation to last matchup where we were very neck to neck when it was 3-3. Now HDM seems to have figured out something. And it's the ball is on Fatnuts' court here to make something happen, to swing that momentum back and take 4 in a row to being victorious in this set. something that HDM has taken a lot of value out of is those jumps. I think Fatnuts hasn't been able to anti-air Mei very efficiently, which does sort of make sense because your 6B is kind of slow on the slow end of the scale.
And the hitbox itself isn't that great. Mei's air normals are kind of notorious for being hard to 6B in this game. I think a better option would be to try and go for 2H. You know, Nagoriyuki has a really good anti-air 2H, but it's quite difficult to play at certain ranges and kind of maintaining a range where 2H is going to have the time for you to react and hit.
Yeah, and it's
not easy.
Yeah, and it's going to have to be a prediction instead of reaction a lot of the time. So that makes it doubly difficult. Spent the dangerous looking whiff here. HDM, comfortable sitting here. Yeah, look at that. HDM has the presence of mind. I think that's probably one of the most important aspects or the adjustments that HDM made. Just understanding that Fatnuts wants to play this aggressive and waiting for their turn to get a freebie whenever possible.
And the more aggressive you play, the more a patient opponent can take advantage of being able to see gaps in your play. See, very good 2-way hit, very solid. I think that's just the thing here. Like Fatnuts needs to respond with a little bit more patience and calculated effort to just say, okay, how is HDM? Where is HDM punishing me? How do I cover these spots in my offense?
And I think that's
Try
what
to go for the universe to not pop, but HDM once again was very ready, very conscious of Fatnuts' blood, and I think that's the biggest thing here. Is this
one touch? There we go.
I think it's this sort of presence of mind that HDM is showing with knowing how Fatnuts was going to, when they were going to pop, and then just punishing that. That was served them really well in the set.
Yeah, and we were
really
talking
well played.
Towards the end. We were talking about how Fatnuts sort of did change their pace, definitely in response to HDM's careful play, but you know that it just wasn't enough. Very nice adjustment there mid set from HDM. Really putting on display how to handle very aggressive Nagoriyukis. A task that can be very daunting, very difficult for a lot of us. Alrighty. I'm nervously looking at the clock, trying to figure out how to arrange all of this. So the next matchup, HiWill versus NKellyy, will probably have to be pushed to a later slot. So I would say we are gonna play Fecian versus your boy next if they are available. So let me actually give them a shout.
Oh, apparently HiWill just showed up, so...
Oh, okay.
I mean, we can either go ahead with Fecian set, or we can wait for HiWill to be able to boot things up, so... we can stall for a little bit. We can stall for a moment. I'll pose you a question. How have you, how much Exert have you been playing? How much have you enjoying the rollback, especially now? They've had some fixes been put into place for a lot of the visual issues that the game had.
It's like a solid every day. I've been playing like 3 to 5 hours pretty much every single day after the rollback beta implementation. So like I'm invested. My problem here is I actually want to invest more time into Strive, funny enough, because we got tournaments coming, and I just haven't played a single session of Strive since the Exert rollback beta got announced.
That's pretty fair. I've been playing quite a bit with my girlfriend as well, and it's been very, very good to just learn the game and evolve together. I've been having a really fun time. And just generally, a really solid game. I have a lot of fun. I'm kind of tempted because of it to try the Strive Plus mod that Rin has been actively working on, because she made basically a lot more exerted ACR inspired version of Strive as a mod, which is very interesting. Gives Soul back Dragon install and as such, and fairly sure Soul even has Sideliner.
It's a really interesting project, sort of showing their love for the previous games in an interesting kind of way. Kind of like projects such as like Rev Zero and the project that you just mentioned. They're really fun alternatives. And
Yeah.
you know, if done,
Rev Zero also looks sick, I have to say.
yeah, it's sort of flash from the past from like plus R times, whereas a lot of the characters have some of their older moves, their FB moves, which are basically like kind of like EX moves that you spend 25 meter in. But either way, we are ready for the next matchup. So HiWill versus
Stalling
NKellyy.
successful.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah. HiWill, NKellyy just very a household name at this point, participates nearly weekly, and HiWill has been showing up a few times recently as well. So, oh my god, excuse me. Just definitely cool to see. Again, every time there's a regular showing up, I like noting that it's good to see just the results of people's training and how they change up and evolve over the weeks.
Now, here's what I'm interested in this set. HiWill put on such a, you know, surgical performance against Radoon a couple of weeks ago. I'm interested to see if they can, you know, keep on that same surgical playstyle here against another relatively aggressive player who is NKellyy, but a completely different matchup from Leo.
I think the Baiken and Leo matchups for, you know, to me always felt very similar in kind of vibe that the players playing those two characters can be really defensive and make it really hard to find an opening in. And also, just looking at this, look at how much damage from the get-go NKellyy already did, but HiWill, not to be dissuaded.
It is
Managed
definitely
to get some good mix in.
one more potentially. NKellyy has so much meter. Oh, getting tagged by that. That was such a classic maneuver. The back jump tatamis, you don't see that much in Strive due to how tatami works, but they can still be a very good way to defending your airspace, like NKellyy is doing here. God, that takes me so much back so far away. That's like very exert and plus R thing to do.
I just saw that, I have to say, I just saw that basically OTG Gold Burst coming out, and the first thing I thought was, oh, Eno grabs this. but then I remembered,
right.
This is not the game we're playing. Eno JH, my beloved, the OS is too strong. But still, second round in a row where HiWill takes a big health deficit at the start, but last one they were able to go quite far into comeback, but got slammed again.
You know, I gotta say, I've never seen NKellyy start with this kind of momentum. We see much more aggressive approach usually. Now NKellyy is sort of adapting a sort of like a defensive posture instead. A lot of far range things to fill the air with, and letting HiWill sort of come into you instead of going into them.
A lot of Baiken's specials and normals also interact very favorably with Eno. It's again, yeah, things like this as well, where Eno wants to be going for safe jumps quite a bit, and
right?
Force people into 50-50s. This is definitely a matchup where you, as an Eno player, have to force out defensive play the Baiken. And playing with Note quite a bit at full screen, just creating those sort of spaces, making Baiken player be really uncomfortable about the way they move is I think the key for the matchup, as we know.
Yeah, especially like if NKellyy keeps playing defensively like this, not coming at you, you do have a couple of, you know, moments to take out a Note. So maybe that's what we gotta do here. Take out your own advantageous projectile to approach. Yeah, just like this.
Exactly. And Baiken is unfortunately for, you know, one of those characters that just naturally low profiles HCL standing, which makes it quite a bit more difficult to control space with that at mid-screen. But when someone is trying to jump for the Tatami that much, as NKellyy is, you can definitely cheese out some good hits with HCL. And if you spend some meter here into doing HCL PRC, you're gonna be able to get in.
Alright, speaking
of
in,
HiWill adapt. Oh, solid gold burst here, using one of the bars to get in with the PRC jump.
NKellyy really is this time much more aggressive on defense, playing a lot of good RPS options when HiWill wants to get in, and has pretty much picked the RPS option perfectly so far.
Oh, the 2H hit though, that's just skills, yeah. With the rope especially, you can get really devastating combos on
I wonder if HiWill has labbed any of those specific
It's just 6H, 6H, 6H.
Oh, not too difficult, I guess. Is that optimal?
I mean, it's one of the best things you can do, because after that you can just continue into a normal 6H combo, basically.
Ooh, Footsis! Too heavy, catching NKellyy pressing something now. It seems like HiWill is, after those couple of rough first rounds, starting to adjust to the pace much better.
Oh, and the fact that the 2S is just disjointed enough to be caught up by the DP super, giving HiWill the first point. And yeah, when your opponent's playing really aggressive, it's the same thing we were talking about in the last set. You needed to realize that and just go into the more defensive modes. Solid punish there on the whiff parry. Force the burst out of NKellyy.
Luckily, sets like this that are not FT3, FT7s have so much more time for adjustments.
Which is really interesting to see how, again, someone who starts the set off playing really aggressive might change their playstyle by the end of the FT7. Oh, solid 6B. That's a hard move to 6B. That was really good on HiWill's part, and converting it into the wall break. Yeah, just playing it slow. The super jump.
The rocket is ready to launch! Straight into the RPS. Is that gonna be enough? Not quite. Oh, I was gonna say that it's, in a way, it was extremely disadvantageous. Like, NKellyy got such a nice pressure position off, but because they were forced to take the wall break and return back to neutral without the hard knockdown or meter, it was actually HiWill's advantage there. The meta game of the wall break in Strive. Alright, scoring the meter. Yeah, there's the 2 heavy they were talking about. It doesn't, like, it just seems to interact really well with a lot of different tools from Ino.
It's one of those buttons that you can just kind of throw out and beat stroke. It'll just kind of go under some hover dash angles pretty safely. Unless the Ino is kind of ready and specifically looking for it, you might just go under their hover dash and then not be punished. Ooh, solid node hit, solid run under the H-Kabari.
Yeah, I think the reason why we often don't in Strive see a lot of like jump, neutral jump tatami or jump back tatami is because you have the strong option in jump slash that is much better in this. Oh my goodness, just running under.
NKellyy just went for it, and then yeah, the air dash does lose the HCL, thankfully for HiWill's sake. It's not like,
do all characters get to run under that HCL?
not all, I mean, not fast.
Yeah.
But a majority of them do. It's been made harder for some characters since HCL has become more active, but it's still just, if you commit to a run a lot of times, you can just go harder. I'm trying to think of who else avoids it by standing or by running rather. Solid grab there from HiWill, just calling out the parry, taking them on. I think this was it. It was the first couple games were a lot of data for HiWill, and now they're doing a really solid adaptation to how NKellyy is trying to play.
Yeah, based on
gonna need to solid 60.
Oh, there's the burst! Yeah, HiWill is starting to ride it! It was based on how they played against Radoon. I was thinking that they definitely might be this kind of player. They just need to see some of the sequences, how the opponent plays, so they can adapt perfectly. And now we are at 2-even situation.
And I think a character like Eno suits a player like HiWill super well. You know, Eno has such creativity in the way you can approach neutral through movement that a player that can put a lot of thought, a lot of brain power behind that approach can do a lot with it. Can make that flexibility go far.
Swinging a miss with the 6P. Initially saved, but NKellyy still takes the round. Oh, good RPS at round start. 6P beating the far slashes very universally. Committed to the stroke the big tree while NKellyy switches out of the corner. A plus frame out of Escabari. Oh, I like this.
Solid 6B.
It's good to be conscious of how the physics of that tether work. So if ByteGen wants to play that kind of, you know, jump in the air and come back with a strike, it's good to understand how, like, what are the options there and being able to anti-air yourself to be able to participate in that RPS. Right, swiftly avoiding the note.
And forcing the burst already. Really solid long range 2H there.
Now this is such a nice place to be for NKellyy. No burst to worry about, and almost a full meter in the corner. Yeah, that's gonna bam, murder HiWill. Again, the defensive posture just baiting out the committed option from HiWill. This style of play, I love this from NKellyy so much. Oh my god.
Another attempt at an off-timing gold burst getting stopped by NKellyy. That was at least two that we saw just in very quick succession.
That was, I think, the most commit I've ever seen anybody go for on a burst bait. NKellyy stood there, crouch blocking, waiting for the gold burst for a good, like, 2 seconds, I want to say.
Speaking of burst baits, another one coming in. Really well played from NKellyy, just playing safe onto them. And I think that's a big part of this, is that NKelly's just kind of playing the patient game now as a counter adaptation, and it's worked super well against HiWill's response to their first sort of aggressive game plan.
Yeah, people tend to
Attacking, yeah, against the safe jump. If anything looks like a safe jump, just wake up parry it.
Good block. Oh, I get a punish as well.
Back throw. And
there we
another
go.
grab. Faking out that they were doing a safe jump and then grabbing on the wake up. That's very, very intelligent.
It's good on HiWill for picking all these right options, but we have to consider how little reward you have for some of these options that HiWill has been playing. You know, going for empty throws to bait out the parries, that's not the biggest reward considering how much, you know, damage NKellyy will score on that successful parry.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing here is that it's basically just playing it safe, obviously. Like, the throw is the safest option because you don't risk in any way to accidentally hit into the parry while trying to bait it and then hit later.
Oh my god, I swear.
Another gold burst baited. I feel like NKellyy just is playing with the stick taped down towards the back position.
Alright, but HiWill brings it closer. Even despite those good burst baits there, NKellyy not able to grasp the round. And this time not able to air dash past the projectile. Oh, that's another cool thing. Yeah, using the too heavy as a short, low profile dash to avoid the node. Lots of footsies back and forth. Who lands the big counter hit? It is NKellyy, and converts it successfully as well. Oh my goodness. It's a really favorable way how HiWill received the hit there. NKellyy not quite able to keep up with the pace.
NKellyy not getting the punish on the Fortissimo, but still being able to just kind of steal out the round very convincingly as well.
Again, straight into the tatami mat. And the coolest, even cooler is the way NKellyy converts those straight tatami hits. Oh, the empty throw once again. Oh, that's a cool little punish. Even when you're blocking the gun from Baiken, your nose still travels.
Yeah, the nose still there, managed to get a little bit of damage, but HiWill's back into the difficult situation, just being put on the strike throw, potential high-low situation against the Baiken. And that pressure will just keep going and take HiWill down, unfortunately.
It's so naughty, like you said. It's not just like you would. The layer 1 you expect either the instant overhead or the low, but I think that's what HiWill was exactly thinking of. That's why you miss the opportunity of the strike throw as well, and NKellyy capitalized and got the throw. Yeah, this situation, there's so many things that Baiken could go for. And it deals so much damage. You'll happily gamble the 50 meter on a mix-up when the reward is as high as this, and when the hit is like as good as like just having to guess 50-50.
Especially meter, the conversions that Baiken has been getting and what people keep figuring out on her is so good. People have been consistently developing really solid solid routes for her that even leave you in good Oki situations to keep running your game plan. Baiken's been a very well developed character, I feel.
HiWill scoring the overhead. Unfortunately, the wall has enough damage built up so that the wall break comes at quite an awkward timing. Oh my god, that's too heavy. Doesn't have the meter to back this up quite, but...
Oh, solid punish.
Nice.
And just at the very edge of it, HiWill hits with the Fortissimo.
I feel like NKellyy tried to play that very safe, but the reversal range of the range of that reversal super making it impossible to be completely safe. Now HiWill gets finally in a situation where they get to mix it up. There's like surprisingly little amount of mixing that's been happening from you know, Ina's point of view this matchup.
NKellyy hasn't left them with that much opportunity to do it. You know, Baiken can definitely in a lot of situations just ignore that by forcing you to go for a slower option with the grab,
right?
With the tatami blocking kind of node setups.
Yeah, I'm sorry about the lives being visible, not visible at the moment. I'll try to work on a solution on that in the near future. Well, that's just...
I able to move it just further up. Should be able to still show the lives without cutting out any of the flags. Just might look a little bit off.
Yeah, the problematic part is that I like can't. I'm not skilled enough to do the editing myself. Would have to go into some code probably.
Is it not a source on OBS you can move around?
Not really. It's like I can move stuff around for sure. It just doesn't fit as well. But I'll see what I can do for next week.
Interesting. And just like that, I mean, we kind of zoned out responding to that message, and NKellyy just kept taking it, just forcing the 50-50s on Eno, which that does not that does not feel good as an Eno character, being the one being mixed like that.
And like even if you have RPS options to call out those, you know, reversal parries that are annoying to deal with, it like the way NKellyy put those options out on the table very aggressively at the start of the set, probably. Ooh, that was kind of cool.
Oh, that's a super jump tech. Unfortunately, not getting a full combo out of it.
But yeah, probably those options that NKellyy played now haunting HiWill when it comes to every single RPS situation. So probably like there's gotta be like some sort of a mental block preventing you from just unleashing your normal comfortable mix-up game comfortably. Because it's nagging at the back of your mind, like, oh my god, what if they're parrying? I'm gonna eat so much damage.
And yeah, that is the safe jump.
Oh,
and
no!
NKellyy mistimes jumping for the air throw and gets HiWill a point off of that.
And in this situation, HiWill will happily take that freebie. Needs two more.
Solid air throw.
Go first. Immediate burst. Yeah, don't get caught in the corner when the opponent has 100 to spend. Not in this game. Hopefully not in any fighting game, but especially not in this one.
Yeah, no, in this one, especially against a character that can just loop so many 50-50s, you will be getting hit. It's when with meter, can force such a bad situation for you that you really don't want to be the one to have to deal with that. Speaking of bad situations in the corner, here comes HiWill trying to keep advantage in the corner. And NKellyy gets hit by another Fortissimo. Goes for the YRC. And takes the round.
Even when HiWill manages to force NKellyy to initially block so that there can't be any more parries, even then, the aggressive RPS, the bursts, the YRCs, they come out at the, perfect timings, like just disallowing HiWill to run any sort of Oki comfortably. This match has been like immaculate display of, defensive game plan. Oh, this time!
There we go. This time, the air throw punish is here.
Oh no! No!
NKellyy being the one to try the aggressive gold burst. And now, HiWill, 1 HP and a dream.
Oh no! Is that actually that's gonna cost NKellyy? Perhaps?
Will it cost a round?
Oh my...
Oof.
NKellyy,
so unfortunate.
They had the set. They had the set right there, but it slipped, at least momentarily through their fingers. And now HiWill is still in this.
Air throw, and HiWill's really trying to go for it. Unfortunately, NKellyy escapes the corner with cross up. Goes on set another one. This time gets blocked, but then HiWill just doesn't block anymore. Already at fairly dangerously low health. This might be it.
Oh, the drop
drops it.
Oh, but sure,
another hit. Yeah.
Okay.
Finds its way in, and NKellyy gets it.
Just making it a little more exciting. giving a little bit of that, you know, what we call seema in Finnish. Just let your opponent see the light at the end of the tunnel and then take it all away. NKellyy securing the set 7-5. Still a very amazing set.
Yeah, really good. I'm going to take a moment to get a little bit of water before the next set starts. I'll give you a couple minutes. Excuse me?
Whoops, that's not the one. This one. Okay. 3 sets done, 2 to go. Next up, as per schedule, gonna be Fission versus your boy. It's time for the big boy matchup of the evening, so to speak. Give me just a moment to adjust everything. Alright, so your boy has been doing pretty good. Did pretty decent work against Zok his was it last week? I think it was last week or 2 events ago. So for their troubles, for performing extremely well, they get a prize of having to go against another extremely strong player here in Fission Jacko, one of the strongest Jacko players in EMEA region. And I mean, all jokes aside, it's sort of out of necessity that we sort of from the matchmaking point of view, just to make the event flow as well as possible, we have this one. Fission definitely on the whatchamacallit, probably the favorite to take this. However, this player and character combination, your boy Giovanna, I think if there's a combination of player and characters who can do it, who can tame the beastly Jacko players, it's gotta be this one. The movement, the explosiveness from Gio. If your boy manages to play themselves in a position where they get to, you know, play that strike throw game that Gio is so much known for, put your opponent in the corner. If we manage to get in that position often enough, surely they can take out Fission. But whether they can make it happen, it remains to be seen. We'll see how it goes. Now, even though, you know, Gio does have some extra mobility compared to characters who have difficulties maneuvering around the minions, such as maybe Luis, Nago. Gio doesn't have that problem, but you know, it's not definitely free. No matter what your character is, you're gonna have to play very carefully against, you know, not only the neutral, but when you get put in this situation. Alright, your boy finally finding a way out. It is really tragic when your back is against the corner, Jacko activates the install, and you have no burst or no 50 meter to YRC to speak of. It's kind of like the biggest, you just have to hold this situation is in Strive. And consequently, that is sort of like a win condition for Jacko a lot of the time. Now look at this pressure from Fission. Yeah, that was very important from your boy to not get caught in the corner situation. There we go, the spiral arrow sort of working against the minions as a projectile it will move. Look at the damage, that's what we want. It's the consistency, the accuracy, the, you know, the difficulty to, oh, didn't have time to go for the minion parry there. Can Jacko even minion parry supers? I'm actually not sure. Nice bait there with the flip kick over. Milks out the throw attempt from Fission. Now 1-1 fighting for the first game victory here. Nice maneuvering using the spiral arrow can sort of be like a makeshift dash as well. Especially when Jacko is in the air ready to throw the minions, when you can sort of try to low profile under and try to position yourself under them. Nice interruption. Again, Fission being an advanced player, they know if that pressure reset spiral arrow is coming in a block string, you can definitely interrupt it. An interruption once again, those are very important against Giovanna. Not letting Gio run away with too much of that pressure reset goodness. But look at this. Your boy does not have any resources. This is bad. They need a miracle here. Landing, taking a straight hit. It's still good. There we go. But immediately the Strive Burst comes through. Yo, that was so smart. Fission waiting for the response in the air, where often your response has to be like you either try to take the throw or you think that they will go for the strike. Fission chose the very high reward option there, waiting for the response from your boy instead.
Oh my, I already missed the first game. Oops. Took a bit longer than expected, but good to see it's on the way.
At the 5Ks, trying to dismantle the minions as they are coming in. That is a very important part of the matchup for just about any character. Picking the right tool, the safest normal for the job to poke out the minions as they fly at you. And now Fission again in the favorite position, activating the red buff.
Yeah, with the install, you got so much meter to use minion command and keep pressure up, keep recycling minions as they expire. Fission can just keep it going. Takes a round off of your boy.
And it's interesting how you manage to tackle the meter economy in especially Jacko matchup. Are you gonna spend the meter aggressively to try to sort of pressure Jacko, destroy Jacko before they get their game started? Or are you gonna save that 50 meter for the YRC if the time comes when you need to get out of the corner pressure?
And even in the corner pressure, it's just generally so difficult to deal with Jacko's minions when you're in the corner fighting any yet really to do anything, especially when she has the meter and is in that install super.
Yeah, that's a really good point. It's not even guaranteed. Even if you have that 50, that doesn't mean you get out of the pressure.
I think the biggest saving grace is that typically you will just get rid of the minions, and obviously like not having any goobers on your face is one of the better results, but it's still an uphill battle if you let yourself get into that spot in the first place. But I think your boy is showing off the correct way of dealing with Jacko here, which is trying your best to not get into that spot in the first place. But yeah, here Fission did not have the meter to back up the pressure, and your boy just needed to hold off until they were able to find an out.
A very comfortable opening here. Both players putting one on the board, establishing that both players have the capability of taking the set.
Yeah, and I think it is just a difficult matchup to either side, because again, we were talking about this earlier during Kianator's set, that Jacko's defense is really poor, so if either of these characters gets into the really good pressure situations for them, with Giovanna, it's looping that looping the corner pressure, the strike throw situations, whereas Jacko is just the chip sequences with minions. Both of these characters can be in very hot water.
Yeah,
as we're seeing here now. You can't FD forever.
Yeah, your boy opting to deposit the meter into the FD, but the thing is, the FD doesn't necessarily push Jacko out either. because you can't choose to use normals that sort of have that forward-moving momentum if you see your opponent trying to FD out. So you definitely have counterplay for Jacko depending on, you know, whether they normal block or FD block. Oh, interesting sequence.
I think that was a misinput for the on the self-destruct. He ruined the pressure sequence that Fission was gonna try to go into. Quite the devastating. I think that's quite a devastating misinput.
Oh, but a very well placed spiral arrow getting your boy in the position to pressure. Nice tech.
And now Fission back into the corner. Fission will connect this. This kills if it hits. And there it is. Yeah, there's no way Fission was dropping dead. And into game 4 we go.
Yeah, I think we were talking about the pressure sequence in the corner being so, you know, overbearing for regardless of which character is on the driving seat or on the driving wheel. But the thing is, you get to play much more, you get to interact much more with Gio's pressure, even though it is scarier in the way that, you know, one hit will take 15% of your life. But, you know, comparing it to the Jacko pressure, you don't, like, it's, Jacko pressure can be very, what's the word I'm looking for? Suffocating, because you don't get to, you don't get to interact with her as much, and it's much more safe. Now,
oh, really solid cross.
Oh wait, is this?
Oh.
Was that a misinput again?
That's such a. It probably was, because that's really close to how you input the super.
I was wondering, what if the self-destruction actually anti-airs your boy from that super?
I was wondering, and when the round ended on the dive kick, I forgotten that Fission was that low on health. I was, did your boy get anti-aired and died? No, the drop kick did find its way to Fission and got the kill.
Honestly, that would have been the nuttiest play I've ever seen in Strive before. Too bad it wasn't meant to be that time. Oh, but okay, baiting the burst. Wait, no, your boy doesn't have a burst.
Ooh, that's a lot of damage just from raw super into 2D. Yeah, that was death waiting to happen. Solid block on the cross up.
Oh my goodness.
2P. Very fast button for Giovanna, just finding its way in.
I think Fission can make that sequence tight, but you know, the name of the game is always, in pretty much any fighting game, trying to predict the timings of their buttons. Sometimes you need to let them have the gap if you think they, you know, go for fuzzy mashing or press buttons with delayed timings. At that time, the 2P came in a little too fast. 2D securing the knockdown.
Walking your boy over to the corner. Your boy with the cross through actually killing a minion.
I like how, like, your boy's use of that spiral arrow to sort of skip past the initial zoning from Fission has been really on point. Yeah,
using the late burst there from Fission, I think, yeah, there's a confidence here taking the round still.
Especially in that situation where you have like one minion on the ground, one minion in Fission's hands, and they're like bouncing them, trying to prevent the angles from normally people coming in. Oh my goodness! The telekinetic 2D is still a thing! 50% life has been dealt. Ooh, a little too early for that throw attempt. We're keeping the pressure alive. Fission.
Continuing it. Keep it going.
Now downside, this is not the corner position, so activating that minion buff. Oh, here we go though. Has the meter. Yeah, we're going into it. Your boy
Oh,
Okay,
yeah,
just
just
catching up.
hit confirming it to super. This gives a good Oki situation. Fission has the meter.
Oh, wait!
Keep it going? Well, hold on.
Okay, okay. That's actually pretty cool. Instead of taking it back to neutral, Fission just playing an option I think none of us were expecting. Just investing the extra 50 meter into it and resetting it back to the same corner situation. Honestly,
That
that's
was really
brilliant.
interesting. That that it went like that to just guarantee a good situation in the corner and just keep applying pressure, and it paid off. Fission got the game off the back of that.
And these high-level players really have a different way of approaching the wall break meta.
And they just, you can tell that they just see the game in a different light.
Playing for potentially the last hit, yeah, taking it very slowly this time, not letting your boy get that spiral arrow in. That's an interruption once again. And working towards that corner position at the same time, your boy doesn't want to get pushed back too much. Real estate, such an important factor here. Finds the hit, being very burst safe, but doesn't delay it enough. Nice switch of sides. And now your boy, because they spent that meter earlier.
Yeah, managed to get one small hit in, I think he something with a sword to just get the minions out, but it just wasn't enough.
Fission blazing forward, 4-2. But so far, I gotta say, your boy fighting back way more than I expected maybe initially. I would have scored your boy as the underdog here, but it certainly does not look like that way. By the way that they've been playing so far.
I think it's to show that there's actually some experience with the matchup there, which, again, you don't typically have people who can kind of think around or handle the really high-level Jacko gameplay. It's good to see this is the difficult part of dealing with Jacko is lots of minions, lots of pressure.
The two minions in the back finally in there. Fission started that pressure sequence when the two goons were like at mid-screen still. Oh, interesting. Expecting a jump in attempt. That's definitely one option for an anti-air that you can play, just minion parry. Trying to score chip damage.
Yeah, or at the very least just getting rid of that meter bar on your boy's side who was just holding it for the FD. A lot of meter investment.
Yeah, as this set has progressed, Fission definitely more conscious. Yeah, there we go. Able to attack the spiral arrow startup this time before it goes active. If that goes active, the minions just don't seem to do all that much. Fission with so much meter. Good air to air. It was your boys. One of your boys' potential escape attempt or escape routes, but Fission just being conscious of that one opportunity that they had to leave the corner, and Fission now on 5.
And is slowly like edging an advantage here.
Is this where the experience comes in play? Oh, very interesting RPS sequence there. Sliding forward. Fission choosing to hold on to the burst here, just taking the damage and the wall break. And at this point, I think it's no longer very feasible for Fission to try to go for a burst because of this life disadvantage. Yeah, the 5 heavy just lands fully charged. Wait, did Fishy just dash over that 2K? Interesting box there. Again, yeah, not letting the spiral arrow go into the active frames. Fission securing the corner, securing the knockdown.
Yeah, this still deals a really respectable amount of damage, especially considering the good reward that you have from it afterwards. Yeah, getting 2 minions out before neutral is insane. And now, oh, unfortunate drop, but the 2H finds the hit in and allows Fission to just wrap up the round.
Yeah, this is getting kind of dangerous for your boy. Their attempts to air dash out of the corner have just been met by perfect reads from Fission. Speaking of reads, there goes one of your most important resources to get out of this jail. Oh my god, call the police. Alright, important 2K. Now your boys chance to turn this around. Fission has a lot of meter though.
There's the burst and meter, but anti-airing with the dive kick into the wall break even. That's a lot of damage.
Ah, that feels so bad when you think it's like they have the 50 meter, they will probably attempt to go for the YRC. When you abort the sequence just so that they get a perfect blue RC out instead, and then it's kind of their turn because your frames are just so slowed for a couple of seconds. But that's the risk you take for, you know, going in and just baiting too much. Ooh, nice minion parry there. Comes out just in time. 6B. Will bounce back and forth with the minions. Again, Fission's anti-airs have been so on point the past these couple of rounds.
Solid confirm from your boy, actually going coast to coast there. If it wasn't for the burst, that would have probably broken the wall on the other side.
Good save there.
Your boy already in danger from the amount of times they're having to just kind of back off and respect the minion throws. This is very, very unfortunate. Has to be very careful around it.
No.
Just the constant, the loss of meter. Your boy was just in a really difficult situation there.
Fission just seems to have developed this perfect control of the match. Like Fission is kind of has adopted another, you know, defensive posture kind of a thing. They're more unwilling. They're just willing to sort of check what your boy is doing and willing to react to their moves at this point. Waiting for their opportunity to get this out instead. Now, wasn't probably planning for this wall break, so a good chance for your boy to still bring it back. This is a good start. Your boy needs this desperately. Spending 50 meter, not even getting Fission's meter out as a defensive option. Fission is just so comfortable sitting there on defense. Oh, that was a good snipe! The perfectly timed instant air dash! Fission has to spend meter, has to spend burst for that one, but now your boy...
Yeah, very far away, very low on health. Fission has a lot of resources building up. Yeah, just 6 Ps for the win, just carefully anti-airing and taking the game.
What a spacing that was as well.
Yeah, I think Fission's ability to kind of convert between playing the mid and close ranges to going on to full-on zoning in the set was really impressive to see. Like, your boy really struggled on some of the matches, especially in these last 2 games, to Fission just being able to control space super well. You have to admire it.
But also, at the same time, extremely valiant effort from your boy. This is not just any Jacko we're talking about. This is potentially one of the strongest, if not the strongest, current active Jackos in the EMEA region. So, big hand for that extremely good showing from your boy there. All right, and next, I think it's gonna align perfectly. We're gonna get our all 5 matchups played. So one more left. Our Finn mirror here, Setsuna, Baiken versus Rolle Chip.
And Setsuna, you said, is a new name here onto the show?
Yeah, I think Setsuna hasn't played a single match yet. This is gonna be a rookie matchup. Both of these guys fairly active in their respective skill brackets. Rolle, on the other hand, has been on the show for a couple of times. Let me send them both a message.
They're not in the Bounty Hunter server.
Yeah, communicating through the Finn Discord instead.
Makes sense, makes sense. I think we've seen Rolle here, right?
Yeah, they've played. Yeah, they played a couple of matches, not just on Bounty Hunters on the Strive side, but also Exert plus R, just another really such a nice guy who loves to play a lot of fighting games, especially the Guilty Gear franchise.
I think aren't they a Soul player elsewhere? I feel like I recognize the name.
As sort of what I was about to slip earlier, because they've been playing with a nickname Rolle-Soul on Plus R. So I sometimes tend to autopilot into that Rolle-Soul.
Yeah, I do think I've seen that name. I think I've played against them even. So it is interesting to see them on the Strive floor. So yeah.
Oh yeah, I think I forgot to give them the code.
Oh,
that might be why. So my apologies. I gave the lobby code in the Bounty Hunters Discord, but not in the Finn Cord. Alright, so we got both players on the way. Alright, Setsuna ready to go with the horse mask. That's an interesting looking character.
Do you think it's a any kind of hint as to what we might be seeing today?
I wonder.
Some horsing around?
Horsing around potentially? What kind of how does yeah, it's I'm not sure what to think about. It's like a magician robes, folded chair.
And then we have brunette Kaikisk with sunglasses.
With my best psychological analysis of Setsuna. We're just gonna jump into it and let the gameplay speak for itself. The two Finnish guys, Setsuna, Rolle. Time to roll it. Time to roll it.
Interesting. I mean, I do understand not wanting to play the same character also in different games of the same franchise. So it is interesting to see that Rolle ended up playing Chip in Strive after coming from Soul in Plus R. I don't know if they play Exit much and if they have a different main there as well. But
yeah,
it's interesting to see
I've
the
seen
kind of
Rolle on
characters
like
people play
yeah,
between the game.
I've seen Rolle on like Zato on the Exert side of things. He definitely likes technical characters and likes a lot of variety.
And Setsuna here, so far playing just solid fundamentals Viken, just going for the pressure, high lows, yeah, off that close slash.
The
Take
gameplay
the first game just like that.
that you would sort of expect from Viken, forcing the opponent into difficult situations where they have to guess 50-50. Those are the ones that Viken probably excels in the most. Like, what's a better feeling when your opponent just has to hold it and guess right to avoid taking 50% of their life? Ooh, interesting jump D, plummeting you backwards. Now, less time to show what's what. Setsuna, however, finding a good Apares out of that situation, and the burst punish is there as well.
Grabbing, not giving Rolle much of a chance to burst there, just continuing on with the pressure. And very safe, as we saw in the NKellyy matchup, Viking can do these sequences and be really reasonably safe from burst attack.
Another thing that should be mentioned is, even though this is a Finn mirror, this is probably one of the first times that these guys play against each other, so there definitely is no prior player knowledge going into this matchup.
Not holding back, though, does get hit with the slightly delayed burst. Roll it now, getting the grab in, going for the overhead on the pressure.
Oh no!
Tries to get the wall run combo, but it is one of the harder hit confirms to get. When I tried out Chip, I definitely struggled with that one as well. So I just sympathize with what happened there. And Setsuna manages to get the kill with 2K.
Yeah, a hint of the old Chip. Has been a very technical character to play in the past. Maybe not as much in Strive, but still one of the more difficult to pilot for sure. But that's, yeah, that is definitely a tragedy, as that was Rolle's round to take with one of those, probably the highest hitting damage combo that you can actually do on Chip. Good block on the overhead. No big punish though to follow. Oh,
these are unfortunately not working out for Rolle, who's whiffing them quite often. Setsuna is having the chance to be wise to them, just paying attention. I think just playing a bit safe is paying off for Setsuna right now.
Yeah, Setsuna's pressure is flowing surprisingly well, considering that they've been able to bait those seemingly random spot DPs, and yet still not giving Rolle like any room to breathe, basically. 3-0. The advantage has definitely been established. That was very nice. Kicking the clone. A thing you can definitely do in this one.
Oh, the 2K finds a hit, but Setsuna manages to break the pressure after it. So 2K 2D. Rolle managing to get in with the cross up. Gets a grab. Yeah, finds the hit with a meaty close slash. And just being able to loop the pressure. Just strike throw pressure right now.
Yeah, I think so far, definitely Rolle's biggest problem is just getting the rewards, especially the decisive combos on point. There are a lot of good hits, such as this, but the more opportunities you give for your opponent to play, it especially hurts Chip. Because a lot of those, like any and every one of those hits is gonna feel bad for you. Another 6K. Oh! Maybe good fortune there, was probably whiffing the combo, but Setsuna decided to burst, so not a completely... Wait a second, what was that? That looked very fancy. But the super should do enough damage on Chip, yeah, and getting the wall break as well for good measure. Plus frames out of the clone, forcing Setsuna in this pressure situation where Rolle has found the most success so far.
Yeah, going for the reset on the crossover. Setsuna tried to contest, got caught out. And Rolle now using the meter to keep pressure up with punishing the 2K.
Oh, wait a second.
Hit on the cross up.
Yeah, just takes the punish comfortably. Rolle on the board now.
Yeah, finding the stride with the pressure. This is still just, you know, 3 games of information, and Rolle is getting a little bit warmed up to the matchup. This can still go either way. Solid contest there on the overhead Rekka.
Heavy Kabari catching on the backdash. Oh, again, that's just too much disjoint.
Solid punish on the DP.
Okay, Rolle is still choosing to play this
Passing over the bullet. And going in for it. Forces the burst out. This is already, you know, there's a success there. On the round there for Rolle being able to get the burst out of Setsuna. But now we'll have to capitalize on that advantage in this round. Unfortunately being pushed back into the corner. Hit by the slightly charged 5D, not a full charge, or it could have just ended here.
I was just about to say that Rolle choosing to defend in the corner very aggressively with bottom, but there it is, Rolle actually air dashing out of the corner, so has all the tools in the box, so to speak. Now it's just up to the players to utilize the tools in their best places. And Setsuna finding a way out for a brief moment. So it's a big hit.
Oh yeah, solid on jump 2K, forces a burst out. Then bursts off into a reset, but gets grabbed out of it. Now Rolle tries to advance into it, but heavy Kabari finds its way in, and Setsuna with the full conversion off of /Kabari manages to wrap up the round.
Definitely something you want to have on point. Your best combos, especially when you're performing them on Chip. After the match, you can go on Twitter and post all those big combos. Look at what I did.
I was just about to say, yeah.
Again, the clone taking the throw. I think the way that Rolle has chosen to sort of tackle the pressure situations is try to play a little bit of hit and run. No, don't necessarily commit fully to big things like maybe throws, unless you have like a lot of plus frames. And just opting to go for death by 1,000 cuts kind of a route. But to be
some full range, some slow gameplay, a little bit of footsies. Good check on the 2P there. Trying to get slash in on Chip, but losing out. This time, yeah, gets the first out of Setsuna.
That's really gonna use this meter.
There's definitely a few options. You could use it for some sort of YRC for reversal, but no, we'll just be taking it into next round, so to say. But I don't know. If you win with a full bar meter, it's not really wasted. You want anyway.
This time, luckily for Rolle, whipping against that heavy Kabari and not getting fully punished. However, punishment coming in different ways here. Setsuna going for the throw combo. Surely gonna wrap that one up. Now it's starting to be super important for Rolle to try to take these games. Both players on 1 round victory here. Oh no, Rolle does have a burst. When is it gonna come out? No burst! Just tanks out the damage.
Now, Rolle is at 1 health, but hits into the parry and dies, giving a 6 point to Setsuna.
Yeah, maybe a very, I think, very heavy commit there from Rolle to...
Yeah, and it's a really late showing of the parry. You know, Setsuna hasn't really presented the parry option so far. So just showing it this far gives Rolle very little time to properly adjust to it and try to play around and bait it out now.
Yeah, it's essentially 1 round and it's over. Now Rolle has to perform a miracle once again.
If there's a character that can really put your opponent in a really difficult blender, it would be Chip. You know, Chip's pressure sequences can just get out of hand very, very fast. But just need to see that from Rolle now, going on the offensive. But
oh my god, that's
once
enough.
again the parry for the win in the set.
Now show the parry damage on somebody other than Chip. God
It
damn.
still does a shitload.
It
is
does,
the reality of it.
doesn't it? Alright, Setsuna with a almost clean sweep on their debut match on Bounty Hunters.